Well, good evening, I should say. It's Monday night, Airfix and Chill. Hope everyone's well. We've got so many in the chat already. Lots of people signed up to watch us. They must love us on a Monday night, swearing and all, I believe. So, which is all good. Yeah, apparently we've had a bit of a comment that another YouTuber says he doesn't watch my channel anymore or certain people's channels because they swear. I'll let you know, folks, that the reason I let this become a bit more mature is that we're all adults, right? Most of us swear. Most of it is said for effect or comedy effect. But also, I set this channel for mature audiences in the fact of that there are laws in place to protect children. There's the copper rules, which blew up on YouTube 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so the algorithm and the technology behind YouTube, if there's swearing involved, they'll know that it's for more of a mature audience. And that's why we do it. We don't just, we're not effing and jeffing all the time, but sometimes to put our point across, we do eff and jeff. And to be fair, a lot of it's in banter and fun, isn't it?
That's
So,
bullshit,
but in my videos, have you watched the last video I did about the lifeboat? If you look at the blooper reel at the end, I did swear a bit in that one. But yeah, it's just because we are a bit of we're adult mature audience, and we do swear, especially if you're building certain kits.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're adults, Moss. I'm not sure we're mature.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I get that. But yeah, so if people don't want to watch us because we swear, I mean, I do allow swearing because to be fair, it does reiterate a point sometimes, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure that look how successful Clarkson's farm is. When Clarkson was doing the Grand Tour, do you remember watching Top Gear? Never any swearing, but now you watch the Grand Tour and it's on Amazon. They swear a lot more, don't they? It's a different audience. So, but yeah, Julian Hall just says, Moz, I'm fluent in 3 languages: English, gibberish, and profanity. I think we all are. What I mean? And what's a swear word? You know what I mean? Some people say, "Oh, sugar." It's what's behind it. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I heard somebody said that certain YouTuber doesn't watch us because we swear, and I think, well, so be it.
You could go down the Battlestar Galactica reboot route, Moss, and frack and
yeah.
Frank.
I just love. I've been watching Clarkson's farm. I've been watching Clarkson's farm this week, and then whenever I hear an Irish lady say "feck," feck off, you idiot. I love it. Lisa's brilliant on that. Yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that, so that if he doesn't want to watch us, that's absolutely fine. I think I have invited him on here a couple of times. He's not come on. Months ago, he never came on. But, if he wants to write things like that in other people's videos on why he doesn't want to watch me.
Can I just say to Steve T, to be fair, it was the Northern Lights that are affecting Alex's ability to stick on parts the correct way round.
That was the magnetic fields. Yeah.
Is that what it was it?
Yeah. None of this shit. Yeah. Oops.
Hey, you want to hear somebody swear? Just watch me build a pocket Lamborghini. That's enough. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for Nigel to start swearing. I'm waiting for Nigel to start swearing. Anyway, so
I was told off once. For calling something god awful.
God awful.
Taking the Lord's name in vain.
Blasphemy, John.
It was blasphemy, yeah, but it was.
I never used the Lord's name in vain. No, definitely not. Anyway, folks, question and answer tonight, really. On discussion, we're going to talk about workbenches, really. What did you start off with? What have you got now? What's improved over the years of your workbench? For me, I've done a video on my workbench. If you want to go back and watch it, my workbench is my sacred space. For me, busy day, long day, lots going on. There's nothing better to come back to my workbench, my little altar, and sniff glue, and lacquer paints, and and see Northern Lights, you know, at my bench. You know what I mean? It's but seriously, no, it you know, my workbench is not perfect. It really isn't. Like HobbyZone, or their compartments. The problem is that where the bench is and the table, the drawers are there, and when you put out a drawer, you've got to move stuff because you're building on it. I need it higher. That's what I need, it a bit higher. But that's something I've got to deal with in myself, you know. I label up everything, so every drawer's got a label on it. I have my paints in random order, so I spend most of my time looking for paints. But other than that, if I see a little gizmo when I go to a model show in a workbench, I do. The latest thing I bought was one of those lights. I can't think what the company's called now. Jonathan Mock has got a pair of them. I think Nigel's got one of these big lights as well. He's holding up my board here, so I can't show you it. Which I stole from him. I stole it. Ran out of the office with it on Wednesday. But yeah, that's the only real new thing I've got is my overhead lamp. Beautiful thing. But yeah, so any questions about modelling benches or techniques or anything, just put them in the chat and we'll try to answer. Luke, you've got a nice setup, haven't you? Sorry?
I think before we start, Moss, I think I should just say I think it's terrible that you're promoting both theft and solvent abuse.
Yeah. Another reason not to watch us.
Yeah.
Not for kids. NSFW.
Yeah. Fair enough, Jared. So what's your little workbench like then, Luke? You've got a nice little setup in office, haven't you, out the way?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky, I think, because firstly I have the space.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, this wasn't all done overnight. Do you know what I mean? This is probably 10, 11 years of quite significant investment to get it to where it is. But I don't go to the pub. I don't smoke anymore. I don't have kids. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite lucky and I have a significant disposable income. And like you said, Moss, this room, this is it's my space. It's my thing. So after a long week of work or whatever, this is where I spend my time. So it's a worthwhile investment. There's a video on my channel when I set this room up. I don't actually know what to call it because a lot of people refer to their modeling space as like the man cave.
Yeah.
And I'm not going all woke, but I don't like that, the man cave, because I think I don't know. Is it a studio? Is it you know what I mean? What is it? To me, it's just my modeling room. Do you know what I mean? And over the years, I mean, when I started, I literally started in front of the TV on my lap with a tray. Do you know what I mean? And then over the years, it's just developed. And like you, now if I see a new tool or a new gadget or whatever, I'll generally buy it and probably not use it for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? But it's there. So I'm very lucky. I have a significant paint range. You know, I've got all the Tamiya ranges, XXF, LP. I've got the full Citadel range. I've got almost the full model color range. But it doesn't happen overnight, I don't think. And I don't think you need it. You know, I don't think, for me, this is my thing. Some people play golf. Some people spend money on their car. This is my thing. So I spend a lot of money on it. But does it make me a better modeler? Probably not, to be honest. There'll be some people who are modeling on a tray in front of the TV or on the dining table or whatever that will be way better at it. What I do like is if I'm doing something, what I can do is I can close the door. Leave everything where it is. I can close the door. And then if I'm going to do my 4 shifts on or whatever, when I come back on my first rest day, it's exactly as I left it. I don't need to clear it away because I'm on the dining table or whatever. I can leave as is and come back to it, and I know exactly where I'm at. And then over the years, you end up spending many, like lamps. You were talking about lamps. I've got the daylight company overhead lamps.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got 4 of those now. But I didn't go out and spend 450 quid on lamps. You know, I bought one, liked it, and then maybe 6 months later I got another one for the spray booth, and I started off with a Chinese compressor that most people have used at some point. Now I've got a nice Sparmax one and a Bench Vent 2000 or whatever. But you just build up to it, you know. It's unless you are significantly wealthy, I don't think many people are in a position where they can go out and buy the best of equipment all in one go. I don't think people can do that. It's all insured as well. It's an additional thing on the house insurance. So that's the one, yeah.
This is the craft light. This is what Jonathan Mark recommended them on his channel. So me being me, got the credit card out and bought one straight away. We've got 2, one either side. I've only got the one which I pull down, and I attach a camera to it as well, so it's like it's beaming on the light. But they've gone up in price. You know, I think I pay about 80 quid for mine. They're 98 quid now, and they clip onto my workbench off the shelf, and I think they're one of the best lights I've ever used.
Yeah.
I think Nigel's got one of these lights, but his has got a magnifier to it. Is that right, Nigel? Have you got the magnifier version of this one?
Hang on. For the first time, I'm streaming on my channel.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, it's behind me. Can you go off full screen, please, Moss?
Yeah, I'll do that now. Yeah, I'll just do that now.
This one here.
Yeah.
I use this a lot. It's got a great big square magnifier on it. You can see it. You see it's got a great big square magnifier.
It's Nigel's old.
Yeah, it's extremely bright. It's really good. And it's like 54 quid from Farnell.
Yeah.
Farnell will sell out now tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few people ask me what that light is. And for what it costs, when you compare it to a daylight light, it is... Can I just stop a second? Hello, Bear. For what it costs, it's absolutely brilliant. And then overhead, I've got the same as you, I expect, Moss. This one here.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's cracking little like that.
This is a daylight one. That was about £1,800, I think.
Because the daylight ones, as people don't know, the higher the lumen. So I think it's like anything like 6,000 K is pure white. Anything, and then so they have it cold light and warm light. So it's warm light. I think it's like 1K to 3K. I think it is, if I'm right. Then when it goes up to like the 4 to 6K, it becomes very like daylight white.
I'm not sure what the K is, but on the ones I've got on the top, so they look pretty much exactly the same as that one you just shown us.
Yeah.
These are from the daylight company, but they're adjustable. So you've got on off, and then you've got up and down, so you can get the intensity of the light.
Yeah,
which works pretty well, and it will go, like you say, from like a warm light almost to almost like an ice cold white light, you know.
That's it. I call my room the den. Took me years, and modeling takes the hit in real estate. It does, yeah. It's like I don't put any of my models around the house because it's my effing job to dust them, according to She Who Must Be Obeyed. You know what I mean? So I don't. I basically box them up and they go back up in the attic. But yeah, the daylight LEDs are fantastic. So if you can get a daylight one, look at the lumen. Oh yeah, Kelvin it's called. Sorry, 2,700 Kelvin is typically home incandescent bulb, and 500-600K is daylight. So yeah, so the higher the Kelvin, the whiter it will be. So my modeling room seems so high, it's almost modeling in the dark. I tried a light on the stand, but it was crap. The good ones are too expensive for me. But you know, once you buy these things, they're there for life. You know, they don't really break.
Can I just put in there, sorry, Ross? If Steve T's in the UK, go and look on Farnell and look for this sort of lamp here, okay, with a magnifier. I often use it just as a lamp. You know, it's so bright, and it's like I say, it's about 54, it might be £57. But compared to a daylight lamp, and I've had this probably 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I've had daylight lamps. I've had a couple of daylight lamps, and they always snap here. They always snap off on the neck.
Right.
I don't know if the
I mean,
thinner
one-
whatever.
The one above me now, the one above my bench now, let's bring it down. This one. So that one, I've had that for 8 years, and it's pretty much used every day. Some days it'll be on for like 12, 14 hours maybe.
Yeah.
And it's never missed a beat ever. So I
Wow.
think I paid like 95 quid for it 8 years ago. So I appreciate 95 quid in one go is a big chunk of money for some people, but if it's lasted me 8 years,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's good value, I think.
30 pence a day.
Yeah, it's good value.
I think what I'm talking about are these magnifier ones, Luke. And for me,
Yeah.
the daylight ones, I've had 2 or 3, and they've always broken there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They split the plastic open around the lamp, and then it just falls apart.
I think this is the one, Nigel, you're on about. Let me just bring up my screen. I looked up. Is that the one there, Nigel?
No,
It's on that one.
it's what's the number of it? It's a 80 PCS LED, 80 pieces LED, DT 000092.
92. BT. Did you say BT?
DT Delta
DT.
Tango,
Yeah.
4 zeros. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 9, 2. Dura tool. It sounds a bit wrong, that doesn't it? That's the
Does
one.
a
That's
little
it.
bit. Look at that.
Bloody hell, it's £35.40 now.
Just adding to baskets.
Yeah, they just sold that. Okay.
What size is the lens on that, mate?
Doesn't say. Is it? It's 108 by 174 acrylic lens, 3D dioptry.
I don't understand why it would suddenly be £20 cheaper when everything else is £20 more.
Yeah.
170 by 100.
Yeah.
I'll probably get one. I'll get one as well. That's a spare because that
Yeah, that's a
£35.40. That's mental.
good money, that, isn't it?
Hell.
But yeah. What about you then, John? Do you have big lamps or anything? John Alec I'm talking to. Do you have big lamps?
Take myself off mute here. Yeah, absolutely. So I have a there's a frame. I'll pull it back so that maybe you guys can see it. But I have a frame, and I can actually put a third lamp in here. So it's just a just a frame, and on the frame I've got 3 bulb receptacles, and I've also got a mount for my overhead camera for streaming. And so what I normally use, these are, I was just looking at these. So these are daylight, and they're 5000K CCT daylight, 750 lumen.
Wow.
Right. So, and I've got 2 of them, and the light is pretty good. When I put 3 in, it's really bright.
Yeah.
And then I've also got so right now what's lighting me up is I've got 2 sort of those Pixar lamps,
Yeah.
and I've got them right here, so I'm holding on to them. The same light bulbs. So the 5000K daylight, 750 lumen to illuminate back there. So my my workbench space here, I'm in my office, so I'm able to work. I've got the big screen in front of me. I've got my little computer right here, and so I'm able to model. So this is my one-stop shop, right? My bench is basically this A3 mat, right? So I built this little frame so that it'll give me some space in between it. And so far, that's kind of all I needed. Now I have a big bench down in the basement, so we have a basement. We have basements here in in the Mid Atlantic. But I'm down there in the basement. I call it a dungeon. It's certainly not a man cave. It's really a dungeon. You go down there. There's nothing. Yeah, I hate being down there. So I'm here, and my dog is behind me, and got the nice light coming back through me. It's a very homey environment. However, when I am spraying, I do go to a different place where I have I have one of those booths, a spray booth.
Yeah.
I know we said it was a mature show, John, but a dungeon? I mean, you're bringing that in as well.
Yeah, it's making me think. I'm looking for a name. I should call it my pleasure room.
Oh,
Hey, none of that, Mr. Gray. None of that, Mr. Gray.
I put on the I've got my GIMP mask, with the I look like Thunderstick, right? From Samson, right? Yeah. No,
That's what a GIMP mask. No, I've never seen you in a mask. I've seen that red ball in your mouth and a few straps, but that's all I've seen you in, John. I think I tell you.
That's me you're thinking of, Moss.
We're going to mention nothing.
Sticks
Well, I just bought that lamp, Nigel. So 42 quid, free post. Well, it was £35.40. Then they had the VAT at £7.08. And because it's over 20 quid, free delivery, it'll be here in 48 hours. So £42.48.
Moss, I think you might have got the wrong one. Because I'm just looking at 27 on the website here.
What's that, sorry?
It's £45.27 on the website here.
They must have gone up in price then.
Is the one you ordered DT000092?
Yes,
this
that's
is
the
what
one.
happens when you promote stuff, Nigel.
Yeah, they put the price up.
Yeah, they put the price up,
They
Nigel.
mention their name of the product. They just put the price up.
Why have you got 35 and I'm paying 45?
It's plus VAT.
No, mine's plus VAT as well. That's absolutely.
Yeah, plus VAT, it's 42.48. So
that's a big difference.
Just gone up in price, have they? Because I've just bought one.
Well,
It's because
not the
Nigel's
right
a Rolls Royce engineer. They increased the price by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's Nigel.
they've got 152 in stock, so there's no reason.
You're looking at the wrong one, Nige. Because there was only 8 in stock when I went to buy it.
You've bought the wrong one, I think.
No, manufacturer part number.
yeah, it's DT000092.
Hang on, I'll share my screen so you can see it.
42.48 from the link that you've just. That's including VAT.
Yeah.
8 still available.
Oh, you've put a link in the chat, have you, Ross?
Yeah, that's the one I just ordered. 15 watt LED light. Part number DT000092. £35.40.
This is crazy.
Are you on the CPC Farnham or just on the Farnham web? Because there's CPC Farnham and there's Farnham. If you go on CPC Farnham, that's the one I put in the chat. I'll give you. Well, can I put a link back in again? I'll put a link back in again. It's cpc.farnham, not just the Farnham website. It's the CPC one you want.
What's CPC?
CPC is the business end of it. Farnham is like to the masses, but CPC is to the business to business.
So I can't do that then?
Yeah, click on that link. Yeah, you just sign up. Anyone can do it. The one I just put in the chat.
I can't see it.
Can you see it?
No, I'm looking on my.
Oh no! Look on the one on here.
Yeah, look in just the
Yeah,
comment.
the trouble is I'm watching on my channel.
Oh, I see. Right, okay.
And I
Let me
can't
go
come
to your
back to
channel,
you now.
Nigel, and I'll put it in there, shall I?
I can't come back to you now. That's mental. But if
That's
I can't
right.
buy from there because I'm not a business, then it doesn't matter, does it?
No. You can buy from CPC Farnham for that.
Anyone comment. Yeah.
It's just you just sign up. I signed up. I'm not a business. I was buying stuff to use for business, but I didn't. I'm not actually. I don't. But yeah,
So where have you put the link, Moss?
I've put it in your chat. Hang on, let me just get on here a minute. Nigel's modelling bench. There you
Put
go.
it in my private chat, are you?
No, do you want to email it to you? Will that be easier?
Yeah, email it to me, please. If you put it in the chat, those 8 will be gone in 2 minutes.
All right, okay. I'll leave it. I'll email it to you now.
Sorry about this, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, see, you look at CPC Farnham is a different website. Farnham is the one that is like forward facing to consumers. Right. If you go to CPC Farnham, that's the actual website that businesses buy from to sell on. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's why they probably it's an extra 10 or more to the.
Put the link in your chat, Nigel.
Yeah.
I've got it now.
Not used to it.
I've got the link off my YouTube.
Yeah.
Basket.
So that should help you, mate. It's just cheaper to buy it from there. Just a tip for anyone. CPC Farnham even sell Airfix kits.
Do they?
They do, yeah.
Moss, is there a CFAX link for Nigel?
No, it's an Oracle link.
Can you Can you write it down on a postcard and send it to me, please?
Or send it by pigeon.
Yeah. Darren's just saying in the chat they're now out of stock.
Out of stock.
Yeah. He had the page up, but it's gonna take 10.5 minutes to come back round, isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody
I
just bought one.
I just bought 8, Nigel. I'll sell you.
Yeah.
I think Celtic West bought 3.
yeah, Celtic West bought 3. Yeah. So if you buy 3 plus or more, they go down to 32 quid each.
I'm having to register my account now.
Oh, it's easy done. Anyways, a magnifying lamp from, as I said, don't go to Farno. If you know what you're looking for, go to CPC Farno, because that's like business to business. That's the difference. The Farno, the website, is for consumables. So, no, I've got a friend who's an electrician. He told me about that. So, yeah. Anyways, there's 8 in stock. What they'll do is they'll probably have like a limited number, and then what they'll take from the Farno site and put them back on the CPC Farno site, But yeah. Anyways, right. John Parker, have you got a workbench at all, or are you just working?
I used to have a workbench.
Yeah, then you got married, got kids.
It was a bit of a clever item, really, because it became surplus to requirements because it's an old computer desk.
Yeah.
But I used to use a slide and draw to put all my paints on that I was still working stuff on, So it was never put away, but it was tucked away.
Mm.
And you can get a brand new computer desk for what, 40 quid?
Yeah.
They're not
much,
expensive.
Mine are office desks. Mine, these ones here, these are office desks. So they're quite wide, and they got their little holes for your cables and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
And I see them all the time from bankrupt stock, where, and the best thing is, because they're that sort of height, for instance, if you want a set of drawers, you just buy a set and they just wheel in and out. That's what I like about them. So
I saw someone once, I can't remember where I saw it, and what they'd done, they got an old wardrobe. And what they'd done, so as you were saying, John, with like a computer desk where you've got that sliding drawer or bench worktop or whatever.
Where the keyboard goes. Yeah.
And they constructed inside a wardrobe. So they had a shelf which had their desktop on. Then they had an actual bench top, if you like, which was essentially a shelf. And then underneath that, they had a slide out where they could keep their paints and tools and everything, because they were limited on space, essentially.
Yeah, that's right.
And then when they'd finished for the day, they'd slide the shelf back into the wardrobe, close the wardrobe doors, and it looks like a wardrobe.
Yeah.
So it was an ingenious idea, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work quite well. It's funny what you mentioned before, Luke, about the tea tray on your lap.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teenager, I used to watch telly and build at the same time with a tea tray on.
Sure.
Yeah, it's exactly how I started, because I didn't do it, as I've said before, I didn't do it as a child. So when I bought my first kit, which was what, I don't know, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I literally sat in front of the TV with a tray and built it and painted it and everything on that tray.
Yeah.
And I didn't do a very good job of it, but you know, that's where it all started.
CPC used to stand for Combined Precision. I get all that, but no, Farnell is more the front end because like all the electricians use CPC.Farnell because it's cheaper. We've seen that now. The lamp was 40 odd quid on the Farnell site, but on the CPC Farnell site, it was a tenner cheaper almost. So you got it the wrong way round, mate. But I just got told about it. That's where I get my bits from. So. That's
mental because the only way I heard of Farnell was when I used to buy for a company I worked at. I used to buy engineering supplies, and I'd never even heard of CPC Farnell. I used to spend £1,000 there.
Yeah,
company a mint.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
There was someone asking in the chat, Moss, about magnifiers and what people use.
Yeah, where's that to? Let's go back up. Going back up, can't see it now. Kid on the floor. My computer desks.
I think it was Graham.
Oh, Graham. Yeah, I'm going back up now.
We talked about nothing else for about 10 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a while back. So he was asking, I think, pretty much about
those.
Yeah,
those magnifiers. Personally, I can't get on with those. But it matters.
No, I don't get on with them very well.
Just go on and you can.
Yeah, James has got one.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. We're all going to turn into Joe 90s now.
Here we go. It's the sexy dog Sprue.
Yeah. I couldn't get on without these now. If I'm modeling, I've got these.
I got one of these, so it's right in front of me.
They're handy to the floor, looking for the stuff on the floor.
What's that?
I don't know why supermodels don't wear those on stage. They're so becoming.
Yeah. They're wearing the wacky stuff now on stage.
Great with those on, wouldn't they?
Yeah. The thing is, though, lad, is that I don't wear those ones because I find them heavy on my head. I put them on as like I'm being pulled down to the desk. So I rather use one of these. This one I use on. This is an old thingy jobby, old filament thing. But I've got that one coming from Nigel. Nigel's recommended. I'll get one of them.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, Graham, I think Alex has got, by the looks of it, exactly the same as mine.
Yeah.
I think Amazon's your best bet. About 20 quid, something like that. They're not like massively expensive, and they come. Well, the ones I got come with this box of all interchangeable lenses, so you can adjust the magnification and blah blah blah. I know Tamiya do a set, but I think it's out of production, and if you can find one, it's like mega expensive.
Yeah.
The beauty of Amazon, Alex, is Luke, is that it's easy to send it back. If you get it, you can't just bring it back. It's easy.
If Alex has got the same ones as me, so I use them as glasses almost.
Yeah.
But when you buy them and when they're supplied, they also come with like an elasticated headband, so you can take these arms off and have it as an elasticated headband as well.
Yeah.
So whichever kind of suits you really, and it's also got the little LED light at the front.
You can take that.
Yeah,
there's two versions. There's one which has a rechargeable battery and one which has batteries that you can put in. So if you're not using the light, you can get the battery version, take those out, or don't put any in, and it's a bit lighter. Yeah, I find the rechargeable one's not that heavy though. So
I just think it's a shit design because really, what the best place to put the batteries at the back of the head. I used to when I did caving years ago.
Just get a fucking minus lamp.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Canary.
So
get canary in the cage.
The battery was on the back, so the weight is like over your neck basically. Where if it's here, it's like, oh, I'm getting pulled down. So that's why I don't like them.
Yeah, but you don't need them anyway, Moss. You only do backing starter sets.
Hey. Quick build.
Just joking. I know you love mini art.
Yeah, mini art. Yeah. I'm Poker. Yeah. Miner's helmet is a warm light though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Drat says I have the same as Luke. I removed the battery.
Yeah.
So yeah. Celtic West. I like the full headband type. I'm used to welding masks. Yeah, you know. So, but yeah, a lot of people saying there, Luke, I took the light off as it's the most weight. So, but yeah, I think you know those sort of. There's another gadget, isn't it? You know, but so I just think I wish they designed them so the light was here and the battery pack was at the back. If I see one of them, I might use it, but other than that, no.
Don't even know what I've done with mine.
Mine's around here somewhere, hanging up.
I mean, I must admit, I use them all the time.
I can't get on with them.
I use them all
Did you
the
struggle
time.
when you first started, Luke?
I didn't struggle with the weight or anything because I don't have a glass neck like mine. But what I did struggle with.
This is from Temu, by the way. This one's from Temu. Look at that one.
He's like
Temu.
the elephant man.
I look like the Borg with this bit here on the front. Like the Borg.
Look like a minion.
But what I did struggle with initially,
Yeah, but what does he look like when he puts it on, Alex?
I struggled with
Luke speak.
that's what I struggled with. I didn't struggle with weight or anything, but I struggled with my eyes getting used to the focus.
Yeah.
But after using it for a little while, like your eyes adapt to looking through that lens, whatever magnification that may be that you're using.
Do you change the lenses, or do you just leave the one like 2.5 in or whatever?
I generally leave the same one in, which is kind of the mid-range one. But if I'm working on like tiny PE or something, then I'll increase the magnification.
You can actually adjust. You can move the magnifiers at the.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so if you see that bit there, that's adjustable. So even if you've got the same magnification, and you can move it closer to your eye or further away.
Well, I've got 2 slots in one. I can move them in and out and use 2 lenses. Mega magnification.
I mean, you could spend hundreds of pounds on these things, couldn't you? Because there's
those dentist ones, isn't it?
Yeah, there's lots of industries and lots of professions that wear magnifiers to do their job.
Yeah,
dentists, you know. But for what we do, I think for 20 quid, and I've had those for about 5 years, and they do what I need them to do.
I got this off Temu for £5. So you got the lens at the front, and then inside you got this lens here that folds down, so it gives you like a double lens, and then you have this here, so that, so basically you can magnify 3 times. But I thought I said I can't wait. I just find it heavy, but it's got the lamp adjust as well, so you can move the lamp left and right. So if you want a different angle on the lamp, which is quite handy because when you're looking at something and you get that reflection, you can just move the lamp slightly to the left, and you still get the light, but it's like it's not coming back at your face, if you know what I mean.
Do they catch fire off? They've been charged up, Moz.
These are just battery ones. As I said, you can adjust it. These are just batteries, I think, in here. But it's, as I said, they were only a £5. But as I said, I don't particularly use them because I rather use an overhead magnifier, and
same here.
Like that,
Same here. The other thing you can do, you can get these. You can go and buy these reading glasses in supermarkets. And these, I think, are 3.5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, you look like a geek when you got them on, but blimey, you can really, and it's much better than having that because they don't move around. Yeah. Now, somebody told me you shouldn't use these because they wreck your eyes. I asked an optician, he said that's an absolute total myth. They will not damage your eyes because you focus what hurts your eyes is when you're trying to see. You're better off with them than without them. That's what he said. So, my eyes are getting terrible. I need to get. I hope I'm not going blind because I'll be knackered then. I won't be able to do any modelling at all.
As you
Funny
guys
you say
in
that,
chat
Nigel,
show,
you know.
they feel professional too. They do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I've had 2.5 times for 4 years and they've never hurt my eyes or affected my eyes.
No.
And I use them all the time.
Yeah. Well, these I think
when you wipe them.
I think these are 2.5 or 2.
Yeah, mine are 2.5.
Not hardly anything long distance, but close up. I'm on 2.5 anyway, and I need to get them done again. So.
The only thing I find though, when you do wear those visor things, your peripheral vision shit. Sometimes you're looking at it and you realise that, oh, hang on a minute, I'm not close enough to. When I was doing the rigging on one of my boats, I was there, and in the end,
I was just going to say,
yeah, you're not. I must be close now. You're
like
miles away, like, you know. Yeah,
like watching bloody tennis.
Yeah. I hate it when my wife walks in. I look at her and she bursts out laughing. You're like, Mr. Magoo. I find that insult because I'm black. LOL.
Those Coke, we call them Coke bottle glasses.
Yeah.
They're real thick. Yeah.
John, while I think of it, what happened to you last week, mate? You just suddenly disappeared.
Disappeared.
Last week.
What do you mean? I had
John Alec.
John.
John Alec. Sorry.
Yeah. Did you remember what happened?
No, I'm sorry. What happened?
He got arrested by the feds and he's been in custody all week.
No, we were chatting away and like, bang, you were gone.
You were gone.
Down in the dungeon.
Oh yeah. Question: does anyone use a GoPro or similar to make YouTube videos? Leaves your hands free but wouldn't get in the way. Don't use a GoPro.
Get a proper camera.
Yeah, or use an iPhone. Mobile, yeah. Those GoPros are yeah. I did have one. I've sold it. I had a GoPro 4. Was it 3 or 4? Didn't get on with it. I'd rather use an iPhone because you get the screen as well. You know, when you're watching the iPhone, you get the screen. Or if you use a normal digital camera, you've got a screen. If you can tilt the screen, have a look through the screen. But on GoPros, you don't have a screen on the back, do you? Mine
not
didn't.
on most. No.
They're not very high.
I've actually just got. No, it's not a GoPro. It's
Copy.
Amazon alternative. So actually, I've got a GoPro mount on these. I haven't actually used it in anger yet. I've kind of just adjusted it to do this as an additional one. It does have a screen, and it will also connect via I think it's Bluetooth to your phone, so you can see what you're doing on that. So just as a kind of a modeler's eye view, B-roll footage basically that I can use. So I'm trying it out. I don't know whether it will work. It's 1080p, so we'll see.
I think the issue with something like a GoPro or the equivalent for say making a YouTube video is because of the natural movement. So your torso or your head is moving without you even knowing it is when you're doing something. So if you've got a camera that's moving as your head or your torso or whatever's moving, from the viewer's point of view, that can almost like you're watching it on a boat. Do you know what I mean? You've got a lot of movement in the camera, whereas if you have a fixed camera, whether that be an iPhone, a proper DSLR or whatever you've got, you can move the subject to the camera rather than have this lateral movement in the camera, which from a viewer's point of view could make it quite a difficult watch, if that makes sense. But if you've got both, then that's ideal, because depending on your editing software, you can have your static camera showing the whole thing. And then if Alex, for example, has got his camera on his visor and he's doing something particularly intricate, then you can have a window within a window on the actual video.
Yeah.
And showing it like real up close, and showing the intricacies of what you're working on, which would be a good idea. Definitely.
I think I agree with Luke.
Putting something upside down.
Say again.
He's got Alex can have the intricacies of gluing something on upside down.
Yeah. The like my font of knowledge when it comes to cameras and stuff is Casey Neistat, but his brother Van Neistat. He will tell you straight that if you're doing videos for YouTube, GoPro isn't the way to go. He'd rather use an iPhone than a GoPro. You know, the cameras are so good on the high-end phones now, but when he does overhead shots and all of his stop motion photography and everything, he uses, like, I think it's the Sony range of camera, the high-end ones. GoPros is good if you want a little camera in a car and you're doing a little bit of like B-roll talking to the camera. It's fine, because actually a GoPro will be better because it does have the space on, you know, it's designed so that you don't get the vibration. It films it without the vibration. That's the idea. But honestly, I wouldn't use. I think if you want seriously to start filming your builds, buy the best iPhone or Samsung phone that you can, higher end that you can, and then you're not just that phone. Then it can be used for everything. Uploading. There's another thing, you know, with GoPros you can't upload direct to YouTube, whereas on a camera like this, you're straight up there, aren't you? You know, you're straight into
all my videos get uploaded on this.
Yeah,
I think it really depends on. So I don't know whether we've strayed from the question about whether, you know, you can use it or whether it's the thing to use. It's certainly not like if you've got to buy a camera to do videos, it's not a GoPro. Yeah. If you want to do something different, like I say, I'm doing it to experiment to see, is it going to be good to have the odd cut-in shot of, you know, how I'm actually doing it or seeing it if I want to show something in particular. But that's going to be, I don't know, maybe 5% of the video. Most of it, I'm going to use my DSLR overhead.
Exactly.
I know people have got Logitechs as well. I got a Logitech here looking at me, which is absolutely fine for this. It's like Moss said, if you're the sort of person who's doing glasses or showing T-shirts or clothes or whatever, absolutely fine. Yeah. If you're doing modelling, I mean, there's a dog biscuit. Look at the detail on there, eh? It's awful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You just got to think about what kind of thing do you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, webcams, even good quality webcams, like you say, nice. So I've got the one that is face the camera now. That's a Logitech Stream Cam. I've also got the C920, I think it's called, which is like a bench cam for when I'm in Hangouts and stuff.
Yeah.
They're great for this, but to be filming a build, you lose so much. They haven't got the clarity, and they're autofocus and stuff. By the time it's caught up, you're doing something else. So I use an old iPhone, because obviously most people upgrade every 18 months or whatever. It's an old iPhone, and then this is from Amazon, I think. And it's just a weighted base. You can tilt it with an extendable arm and a phone bracket on it. That's it. And you can do all sorts of angles and whatever. Regarding the GoPro, like I said, I think, as like Alex said, if you're wearing a GoPro and you're doing like a cutting shot, in addition to the recording of your video, I think that could work. But as a standalone thing, I think there's too much movement.
I'll tell you something that does work, and I had some comments, very, very positive comments. I was trying to put that canopy frame on the Lancaster, the border Lancaster, and I could not show it on the camera because I couldn't put the fuselage on its side, and from the top you couldn't see anything. So I just got my little stand, put my iPhone in it, and put the camera behind the model, so it was like looking at my chest. And the comments, do you remember that, James? And the comments I got, that was amazing, fantastic bit of filming. Maybe I should do that again. You know, they absolutely loved it. It was difficult for me to do. I had to work over, because I couldn't have the camera here. I had to have the camera behind looking at me, and I was working backwards.
So going on now from this, let's go on to about spray booth, because I know spray booth is one of the things. I manufactured my own. I bought an industrial, well, from an art guy, really, an industrial fan or extraction system, which unfortunately you can't buy the parts for anymore, but the filters. But then Plastic Monkey said, don't just use filter for fish tanks. So I bought a roller, this filter, and exactly the same. It is exactly the same. So I use that now. But I did mine. Mine doesn't go out of any window. I guess there's a fireplace there. But if I switch that on there, believe it or not, when I'm spraying at my desk, at my bench, I do get the whiff. Obviously, I'm wearing a mask, but it zips it straight in and it disperses it. It's quite a powerful thing. But I don't extract outside.
Where does it disperse it too much?
It comes out and it comes out the top. But when I put a bit of paper on top, where it goes through the fan and out the back, goes up through the top, I've put a bit of paper
It
above.
vents out through the flow.
Pardon?
It vents out through the flow of the chimney.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll put a bit of paper on the top to see what happens, and that paper never got dirty. But
it won't get dirty, but it's the solvents that you're still getting the solvents.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must go out through the chimney.
It might be dispersing it, but where's it going? Do you know what I mean?
The house doesn't smell, you see. It smell, when I'm spraying, the house smells in here. But with that thing going, and it is by the fireplace, so I'm assuming that the solvents then get up through the chimney.
Oh,
But I haven't got an extraction that goes straight out through the thing. But I said, it's one of them. I think you have to judge it for yourself. Depends how much spraying you're going to do. I do have a window here that I can open, but generally the smell doesn't go around the house. It just stays in here. And then when that extractor fan's going off, and I put a bit of paper on there to see if any paint, gets through. So it must be coming off in the filter, obviously. But the smell doesn't go around the house. To be fair, it stays in here, and then it's gone within 20 minutes. And then you can't smell it after 20 minutes. So I'm assuming that's where it's going. But can you use a condenser kit or a condenser box for the spray booth instead of venting out the window? I think you can. That's the idea of them, isn't it?
Yeah, I know people that do. So people that live in like apartments, for example, where their spray booth isn't next to a window or wherever, so they can't extract directly outside. So what they'll use is like a condenser box or the same sort of thing you'd attach to an indoor dryer if it's not a condenser dryer, and then they put an extraction tube on that, fill the box, and then clean the box. Clean the box.
I'll have to get one of those water ones to try them out and see how they work. But the trouble is, I spray on my bench. I don't spray in my booth anymore. I spray on my bench a lot of the time. I know it's bad, but I don't see a lot of paint going everywhere around in this room. I think that's quite a good. It is an industrial one.
I've seen
to anybody who's thinking of buying a booth, that is the best value money on the market, I think.
That doesn't go out through. That doesn't vent though, does it? That doesn't get vented. That's how. That's one of those all-in-one ones, isn't it? Condensers.
That goes out the window.
Yeah, it does go out the window, does it?
It goes out the window, but it's got a double fan in it. It's huge. I mean, it's you can. I mean, you'd almost get a Lancaster fuselage, I think 32nd scale. Yeah, it's big. It's got that big area, and with that on full blast, I can't smell a thing. The only time I smell anything, I've been using clear coat lately, and I'm having to. So I can't be in the booth. I have to be here, and I am seeing some coming up. So I need to get myself a better mask. But for painting, you can't smell a thing. And I just want to say one thing to anybody who's thinking of making their own: please don't go and buy a bathroom fan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because these motors in these have sealed brushes. Bathroom fans don't, and if you're spraying solvents through there and you get a spark, you could end up with quite a nasty fire. You've got moving air, solvents, and sparks. That's the three things you really don't want.
Exactly.
Kaboom.
Yeah, mine's an industrial one. I paid up for it, but the guy was retiring, so. But I got my, at the time, I just.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my one. It's like a big unit. Absolutely massive. And as you say, it just. But that's the one I use. He had it hung up. You can hang them up on the side of the thing, but they're supposed to be one of the best ones, but they don't make them anymore. But that's what I've been using for years.
That's a particle filter you've got there, and it's designed for like places like woodworking where they're pulling the dust out of the air, because the dust is really dangerous to breathe in, but the air that comes out the back doesn't have any solvents in it. So that's what that's for. You're pumping all those solvents back into the room, boss.
Am I? Right.
Yeah, you need to pump it out. Okay.
Well, he said to me, because he was an artist, but he used to use a lot of spray cans in his work because he was a metal artist.
Yeah, but lots of people don't use anything,
Yeah, he's probably off his head on solvents.
No, he was a good lad. He was retiring. But no, and he said that's what he was using for that. But as I get that, but maybe I have to think about it a little bit more. But I've got the chimney behind, so I could easily just attach it to. There's like a pipe because we don't use it anymore as a chill, obviously, because it's blocked up. So my spray boot's in front of it, but it has been lined by metal. So maybe I could just put the pipe up and it will go out through the chimney. It's another idea.
Why don't you cut a hole in the panel that's blocking off the chimney and actually mount that in the hole, and then everything's going up the chimney? Then
the problem is that the chimney's too low. If you think about it, the chimney's up
get
to
these pipes that drop. Obviously, there's some of those.
there's got to be a way around it.
Extractors.
Get a
flexible
bench.
pipe on them.
Get a bench with the steel mesh in the base, and make a wood box that ducts down to that, so it's sucking down.
Yeah, I could do that. Have a look.
That's what we used to use
about it anyway. Yeah.
last night.
Right. Next question. This is a good one. What is the favorite can't do without tool for the panel? I'll cut him out.
Good point, Leslie. Actually,
yeah. Cut him out for me. You try and cut onto a bit of wood, onto anything. Ping with the cutting mat. You've got that little bit of bend, and when you're cutting into it, or you it. I think the cutting mat is the one thing for decals, everything. It's cool. When I first started doing it, I didn't have a cutting mat. I used to have like a pack of the Daily Mirror newspapers, some newspapers that had the caravan holiday voucher taken out of it. That's what we used to have. And then these cutting mats came along, and I think the one thing I use more than anything on my workbench is my cutting mat. If I get paint on it, I can wipe it off with some thinners. Things don't really slide off it. There's a protection there. If I want to cut something, I've got that resistance, and I've got a little bit, little bit of play. I think that's the one thing I would miss more than anything if I was starting again now, would be my cutting mat.
Yeah.
Your turn. If I got your turn.
Probably
Anyone
most
else
Nigel suggested.
Yeah.
I'd say these single edge snippers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
And what David said, a good some set of good scalpel handles and high quality scalpel blades.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's my Swan Morton number 3 handle 10A blades. If I couldn't use that, I had to use craft knives, I would quit the hobby.
I moved on from Swan Morton because one, they're cold and it's steel. I like rubber. I buy these. If I go to a model show and I see these, I buy these 5 or 6 at a time.
Because they're cold.
And also, but I think Swan Morton, when your hands are a bit wet, they're slippery. Because
you one of these already buys a car if it's got a heated steering wheel.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just find with the rubber, I've got good control. And these blades you can pick them up.
Anti-cutting off limbs that is using a rubber.
But handle. You can buy these. You can buy these for like £3.99 at a scale model show. If Revell do the exact same one for £9.99.
I had the snip years ago, Moss. I don't need any rubber.
Yeah, fair enough.
The beauty of the
Moz could do that for you anyway.
the beauty of the
Not with
Sculptor
that thing.
number 3 handle is blades. Like 100 blades are about £10.
Yeah.
So, and also they don't roll off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mine, it doesn't. That little nub there stops it from rolling off the bench.
For
But
me,
say
my tool.
Yeah.
Can I just say, if you're not an airbrusher and you use the hairy stick, don't buy cheap brushes.
No.
Don't ever buy cheap brushes, especially those ones where they bend. The actual handle of the brush bends. They are absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, John, why
Yeah.
is it most of my small detail brushes, after a while, they end up with a hook on the end of the bristles?
Pass. Must be
Are
cheap.
Are they, yeah, if they're synthetic, are they synthetic?
I don't know.
They might be. You
Well,
can't
they
use
are. If you don't know, they are.
Sable.
Get some
Sable.
Kolinsky
use
staple
natural
brushes.
hair brushes. They're brilliant.
I mean,
Um,
a man of your means, Nigel.
right?
A man of your means, really, stop pissing about with cheap detail brushes. and
Tell
get
me what
set.
they are then.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tell me what are they?
Artist Opus.
Artist Opus, yeah.
Artist Opus.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
And
Just-
these are, without doubt, the best paintbrushes that I've ever used.
All right,
They're not
When we
cheap.
do our live stream, next week, you can show me how to look after them. Then.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, and
My packs
they're
all
easy,
day.
mate.
I'm terrible
They're
with
easy.
them.
But they're just.
Well, you have to worry about Nigel because look at him. He hasn't got any hair.
Yeah, he's not used to taking care of it.
Yeah.
You need some
You need to get some brush cleaner, which is this stuff. This is what I use. So I use the Masters brush.
Yeah,
cleaner.
Masters brush soap is fantastic.
And also,
I just wash my brushes in
I've trimmed it now, but when I had a big beard oil for, proper, not synthetic doesn't work, but beard oil on quality paintbrushes works fantastic. So you clean your brush, little drop of beard oil, it conditions the hair of the paintbrush, leave it overnight, it maintains the shape, maintains the point, everything.
So what if you use that brush in lacquer paint?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I wouldn't, but yeah.
Okay. If you used it in Tamiya acrylic paint.
Okay. What would I clean it?
How would you clean it?
I would clean it with initially IPA.
Right.
And then I would use that stuff. And that's like a soap, basically. Can you see that?
Right.
So it's like a soap. So you moisten the brush, mix it round, and you'll see the paint coming off, basically. Then you reshape it with the soap, wipe it clean, little drop of beard oil, work it back to its point like it should be, leave it overnight, naturally dry it, don't try and rush it, and then you're golden, good to go.
You can also, if you want to keep it long term, if you get your brush like after it's been washed in Masters and kind of like mostly clean it off, but there's still a bit of it, you use that fold in your hand and just draw it through to get the point. It'll dry like that, and it'll be like when you get a new brush, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's got that section. It'll stay like that, and then you just need to put it in water just to dissolve it when you get it get back.
And if you get one of these, which is the Citadel paint water pot, if you look on the inside there, you can see those grooves.
Yeah.
In the plastic. So what you do is you'll get your brush once you've cleaned it, like Alex said, and he's shaping it on his hand. So you get your brush. It's going to be difficult to show on camera, but if you get your brush and you run it into that groove, and as you draw it up, it will naturally shape it back to a point.
You need a GoPro, Luke.
Yeah. Mounted to my head, so I can show it.
Yeah,
But
Masters brush cleaner Masters brush cleaner is the stuff to have.
Yeah.
And I've had mine like about 3 or 4 years. I've never. It doesn't go, does it? It just stays.
It really, really helps. Not only as a cleaner, but it really, really helps with maintaining the point.
Yeah, I've got a Calibri here. It's a 10-0. So I'm assuming that's Sable, is it?
Kalinsky Sable.
Kalinsky would be Sable.
Calibri is. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I mean, there are other manufacturers out there. A lot of people swear by Winsor and Newton Series 7, that sort of stuff. I've used those, but for me, Artis Opus, you're gonna have to go a long way to beat them.
Yeah,
they'll be Kalinsky, will they? They'll be
really good brushes too. Yeah,
they'll be Kalinsky, will they?
Yeah.
Really? Because I got into them because of James from LPJ Models, because he swears by them as well. So I bought a load, but also you can buy them readily at Hobbycraft, Kalinsky Sable brushes. So I tend to go in and get my brushes from there, But you're looking at £5-6 a brush still.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Artis Opus are a bit more than that, but Rosemary and Co. They're art suppliers, I believe. That's their sort of main core business, isn't it, artists? But what you can do is with Rosemary and Co. I believe is if you go onto their website, you can select different size brushes, different types of brushes, and basically build your own brush set, basically. And they will send that out to you, so you can build a brush set for exactly what you want it to do.
What sort of money are you looking at for that, Luke?
For those 4 brushes, £60.
Bloody hell. Anyways, moving on.
So, well, you just rinse them off in thinner and then wipe them along the bristle in a piece of towel and then do your. Because that's what I do, but I don't use the soap and that. But all my brushes, which are Pro Art, I guess they're crap.
I mean, generally, if I'm brush painting, I'm using acrylics, like proper acrylics, Monocolor, Citadel, Scale 75, those sort of type paints. So clean it with water, just normal water.
Yeah.
Then wipe it off. Then a bit of IPA. I always use IPA. Some people say you should, some people say you shouldn't. Use a little bit of IPA, then the brush soap, then the beard oil. Done. And I've had those now for 3 years, and they're still as good as the day that I. So yes, 3 years.
Brushes last me about a week. I mean,
but that it comes down to.
I don't know if you can see what's happened to that, Luke.
That's not good, mate.
So if you're cleaning your brushes, Nigel, in solvent, any sort of solvent, like especially harsh ones,
yes, I am.
That gets into the ferrule, like beyond. If you're putting more than just the tip of the brush in it, it'll go up and it'll start to dissolve the glue that actually holds the brush.
That's where you get that sort of spray.
And then it will start to spray.
That one. Okay. I put them in thinners, give them a good old shake around, and then rub them on a piece of paper.
No,
that'll kill them. If you want to kill your brushes,
don't do that with your Artis Opus brushes.
All my brushes are dead. They're all knackered. I can't brush paint to save me life.
Yeah, but it's it's a tool, isn't it? A paintbrush is a tool like any other. And if I do a lot of brush painting, so it's worth me investing in the best I can afford. Does that make sense? The same as some people would drop £500 on an airbrush because they're very, very skilled with that airbrush and they can paint 48 scale figures with an airbrush. I can't do that. So I'd rather spend £200 on my airbrush and £60 on a decent set of paint.
Yeah, I get that. Celtic West just said that he's a Da Vinci Sable good, but I'm still a Winsor & Newton Series 7 fanboy. Fair enough. I hear Winsor & Newton.
Yeah, but Kalinsky Sable isn't a brand. It's what it's made for.
What it is.
So a Series 7 is Kalinsky Sable.
Same as Artis Opus is Kalinsky
and Broken
Sable.
Toad. And if you're spending like £10 a brush or more, it's a Kalinsky Sable brush. If you're spending like £2 or £3 on a brush, it's artificial.
I see. My oldest Kalinsky. When I go to, sorry, go on, Nige.
So Kalinsky is the Sable. It's not the brush manufacturer.
That's
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
well,
a really good, if you're interested in it, there's a really good video by a guy called Ninjon who talks about brushes. I mean, that's for miniature painting, but it applies equally for us doing small scale stuff.
yeah.
And he talks about brushes and about it's fine to use like artificial ones. It's even fine to use the cheap ones. It's having the right tool for the job. Like Luke said, they're tools. So if you've got the cheap ones and you just want to like mix your paint up with them and like do broad test paints and stuff, but don't use those for actually painting a model.
No.
You know, then you can use your artificial. You know, you could. I've got some synthetic brushes here. I use those. I don't use them for really fine work. And as Ninjon says, and then you have your Excalibur. You know, you got your 2 or 3 or 4. You know, Kalinsky Sable brushes. You probably don't want more than a 3-0. If you're going to like a 10-0, you're not going to be able to form the same sort of point. A lot of miniature painters don't go beyond a 1 or a 0.
And I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, they use a bigger brush to get a point, don't they?
Yeah, because you can't hold the paint on a tiny brush, so it dries out, and it's actually counterproductive.
So if you're using a real small, like a 3-0 or whatever, people would automatically assume that the smaller the brush, the more detail you can paint with it. But that's not the case, because as Alex said, what happens is you put the paint on a 3-0 brush. By the time you've moved that to the model, that paint is dry.
Especially when it's warm like now.
Whereas using a 1 or 0, which is what most figure painters would use, really, miniature painters.
I'm experiencing
you can hold the paint in the ferrule of the brush.
Yeah.
So
you shouldn't really be putting the bristles of the brush more than half into your paint. If it's going up again into the ferrule, then you have to clean it. Then you start getting problems. So,
but then the paint just capillaries up, doesn't it?
Yeah, but having said that, so there's a selection. I've got about 40 odd synthetic, flathead, all different shapes and sizes that are cheap as chips. So if you're doing things like dry brushing, or you're applying a wash or something like that, you don't want to be using your artist opus brushes to be doing that. So therefore, that's when your cheaper synthetic brushes come into their own, because dry brushing is a classic one. That will ruin a paintbrush real quick.
Gotcha.
So therefore, go cheap with that, because it doesn't really matter.
Some of the best dry brushes, actually, there's a company, I can't remember what it's called now, but they do a certain type. It's a makeup company. They're makeup brushes. They're short eyeshadow brushes, about maybe 8 millimeters long. And they begin with E, and I can't remember. If I find it, I'll put a link up. They're absolutely fantastic, and they're about £3 each. Most dry, inverted commas, proper dry brush brushes are like £5 or more.
So these brushes, they're all synthetic. They're made by a company called ABC Brushes.
Yeah.
ABC.
They're pretty much at every big show. They'll have a stand there. I mean, they do brush sets and stuff. But what they will have on their stand, which is where I got these from a couple of weeks ago, is they have seconds. So they're ones that haven't made it to their brush set. They're second. So, for example, on the actual handle of the brush itself, there might be a misspelling, or there's a bit missing, or whatever. And they're pennies. And you can buy loads of them in all different sizes.
We have the same.
Yeah, and they're great for what I would say is a utility brush. Your dry brushing, washes, that sort of stuff.
I thought these were really good.
Yeah.
As I was, I get these ones from Hobbycraft, because they say on the thing Kalinsky Sable, but I just realised they're Dala Rowney brushes. But I've been using this one's brilliant. This flathead one that I use when I'm doing, it's phenomenal. I mean, they're good. These are Sable round head, and you've got the rounded heads on that one. But these, and I said I picked them up. They're about £5 or £6 a pop. But they say Kalinsky Sable, so I presume that's what they were, and then, so it's they got one chap here who said that he's had his Holders Kalinsky was made in 1932, and his Brushmaster soap has kept them perfectly usable. So
they'll last you a lifetime if you look after them.
Yeah.
And like David's saying, that the set is on about there, that $55.99, that is that set. That's C with Z from Artis Opus.
You've just said don't go smaller than a 3.
Say again.
3-0.
Don't go smaller than a 3.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah. Garmaster says I use Dale Rowney for my dry busting and pigments. Fair enough.
Yeah. And you get those like the range or wherever.
Yeah.
I use dry brushing. I use this. Moss is going to love this because this is Humbrol.
Yeah, I think Humbrol brushes are good.
It's a Humbrol
they're all right.
number 8 flat hobby.
Yeah.
I got these in a pack of about 10 for about £4.
Yeah.
And I've still got a couple left. I've had them for years.
So you're using paint, you're using powders.
The flat brushes are quite good for doing camo patterns on aircraft.
Yeah.
You put the second coat on.
You minimise the brush
decent,
marks,
even finish.
Yeah.
Whereas round brushes aren't so good for it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get some nice brushes and then Luke can show me how to use them. Well done, Luke.
You might want to pick someone who knows what they're doing, though.
Luke can show you how to look after them.
Yeah, breaking news. Nigel's going to do Warhammer.
No, I'm not. Well, I don't do toys. One final question. Do you mix? I never mix my brushes, acrylics and oils. Do you? I keep brushes dedicated and brushes dedicated for acrylics.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just find that if you clean and look after the brushes, it doesn't matter what paint's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
you
make
get
a
it in
bit
the
of
ferrule. If you're not
thing
careful and that paint gets in the ferrule, that's when they fuck up, you see. So I'd rather put oils in the...
The only paint that these are used for, only paint they're used for, is acrylic. That's it. Nothing else. All the other brushes that are shown that are used for utility brushes, we'll say, dry brushing, washes, pin washes, all that sort of stuff. I don't generally mix them knowingly with oils or whatever, but I am sure that brush has probably had oil on it. It's probably had acrylic on it. It's probably had enamel on it. It's probably, but like John said, as long as you're cleaning that brush properly and you're using the brush properly and you're not taking the paint right up to the tip of the ferrule and all that stuff.
I can't see how you can stop that because the paint capillaries up the bristles to the ferrule, isn't it?
That's my point. When you have oil in acrylic, it gets in. It goes up through. I've seen it.
As soon as I was doing it today because I'm trying to do this turned aluminium effect on this Fokker here, and as soon as I put the brush in the paint because it's quite thin, it's Viejo thinned with water. It's like it's gone straight up the bristles.
Wow, I've never had that.
It's your cheap brushes, Nigel.
You reckon?
I've never had that. No, never.
Wow.
Right, moving on, because Jared's been asking this question.
Yes.
What do you guys think is best top-end compressor out there? My Iwata Smart Jet Pro is just dead. So what's your thought? Because for me personally, I buy cheap compressors. I've seen people with all the big Fandango, big boxes, and they have like separate tank and all this. I just buy cheap. I buy Fenga, which basically are Badger compressors, but with a Fenga badge on. And over the 7 years, I've bought 2.
Yeah, I would say, again, it depends what you're looking for, Jared. Are you looking for something small that's quiet inside? Or are you looking for something, if you've got a garage, are you looking for something with a massive tank on it so that you can charge it up and then like spray through the night or whatever? It really depends what you want to spend your money on. I don't think there's, like Moss said, a particularly, standout brand. I mean, I've bought the last 2 compressors I had before this little one that I got down here, which is a quiet one, were both industrial. I bought them from Machine Mart. They had massive tanks on them because I just wanted. It didn't matter that it was an 85 decibel motor on it because I charge it during the day, got my full tank, and then I'm going to do a spray for like an hour or something in the evening. Yeah. So, it's what do you want it for? If you know what you want it for, you can answer your question better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I use my compressor is the Sparmax. I think it's the 610. So it's got the separate tank on it. So it fills the tank and then you spray from the tank. Decent regulator on it. I think they're about 300 quid ish, depending where you get it from. the most important thing, doesn't matter what your compressor is.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that you have a moisture trap.
Yeah.
Between the compressor and the airbrush. That's the most important thing. And if you're not bothered about noise and you're not bothered about having a standalone tank and all that stuff, then you can pick one up next to nothing really. But that moisture trap is important.
Actually, that's a really good point, because not only is a moisture trap important, but make sure you empty your compressor. It'll have usually a little screw at the bottom or something to let
like
the
a
water out.
little release valve. Yeah.
Because it does what it says on the tin. It compresses air, whatever's in the air, and especially at this time of year when it's getting more humid, and there's more water in the air, it'll compress that.
You should buy empty your tank out every month.
Yeah. You'll be surprised what comes out. It's rusty.
You know?
Yeah.
When we're talking about moisture traps, that's what we're talking about.
My recommendation for what it's worth: don't buy a compressor with a tank, because like James just said, you've got to drain it. They can rust inside. You know, I don't bother. I've got my Iwata Smart Jet Pro. It's 13 years old. I would say to Jared, get another Iwata Smart Jet Pro, because it's got the water trap at the bottom end. I don't like having a water trap at the top, like Luke's just showed, because then you've got the weight of that on the airbrush, and also you're filling the pipe up with moisture. I like to have the moisture trap at the bottom end, so you're not getting any moisture in the line.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, the first compressor I had was like a little inline one. So it only, when you press you got your airbrush, you press down, then it charged. So it charged when you first switched it on, but then it was just like on demand, no tank. The second one I had was a 1940s 2 horsepower compressor with like 1,000-litre tank on it.
Wow.
Obviously, like used for spraying industrial machinery and stuff. I lived on a farm cottage, right? So it didn't matter, right? So those are the two extremes. You really just need to work out, what do you like? And like Nigel said, if you're a fan of the Iwata already, just go new.
Yeah.
I know people that have used like a tire, a spare tire.
Yeah.
And use
that's the original Beetle, though, Luke. The original World War II Beetle, just after the World War II Beetle, they used to, to push the water jets onto the windscreen. It would just be attached to the spare tire to do it with. I tell you what, I've seen some things in my time in the trade, and the best thing I've ever seen was a guy turn up to do a puncture on a lorry, and it was one of the big one. It was what I mean, like a little 3-tonner, and he pulls out this massive super gas sort of tank, for welding. But what he had done is he charges it up, so he goes on the road. He'll just put that on, and then he'll blow up the tire using this massive tank, for gas. Or just use that,
because he can have so much compressed air in there. But this listen to this. Can you hear that?
Yeah,
we can hear it. Yeah.
I'm saying it's very quiet. You can hear it, but it's
what?
not.
What?
Hey.
Yeah.
Are you monetized on this, Moss?
What's that?
Are you monetized on this?
What's he saying?
Did
anybody else hear Nigel?
I think I am monetized. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fuck off then. One more.
But no, I personally, I've always gone with a tank. But then I press the button once a month, and you get that rusty water come out.
Yeah, my big compressor in the garage is a pain in the ass for the rust.
Yeah. But yeah,
if you want the ultimate experience, go to like BOC and get a 4,000 psi 5.5 foot compressed nitrogen tank. That's perfectly dry. It's silent. They're a bit heavy to manipulate, but
that's it now. They don't do the old standard where it was like with moving parts. It's this now corkscrew thing that they have in them, isn't it? They have like a corkscrew that compresses the air. these new ones, the silent running ones, they don't actually like the old way where you have like the piston going inside pushing. Yeah. These new ones are corkscrews. Look them up.
I don't think they're very high CFM though, are they? Those corkscrews, I don't think they can match pistons for CFM, cubic feet a minute, which doesn't really matter for what we're doing. But when you're spraying a car or using it for plasma cutting or something, you want the volume.
Right. Well, then
that's off the subject, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's it. You know.
John,
so how
here I am talking to Nigel, and I'm on mute. So
yeah.
I've got a compressor right here. It's pretty small. It's the Spray Gunner No Name Quiet compressor, and it has worked perfectly for 3 years. I'm going to turn it on right now. Let me know what you guys hear.
That was quieter than Nigel's.
Yeah,
it's right here.
Over in a fish tank.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing I've
got a trap.
Yeah.
This is my workhorse. It has served me every single day I spray brush for 3 years.
I had one of those, and it lasted me about 18 months, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
I mean, if you want to go really high end for a quiet compressor, get a dental compressor.
Mm.
They'll set you back about £1,200, but they're almost completely silent.
Or you can get one of the machine mark direct drive ones with the fan on the top. They're very quiet. Whispers, somewhat I think they're called.
Mm. But to be fair though, lads, noise doesn't really bother us, does it? When it comes to compressors, does it? I crack on and use my compressor.
I think the only issue is if I don't know, you've got family, kids, whatever, you've got like this big industrial compressor.
Yeah,
you're not be very popular. Yeah.
But the trouble is, you can have the quietest compressor in the world, and then you switch your extractor on. I mean, doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
Just hold your breath. You'll be fine.
Yeah, wear a mask. Yeah, wear a mask. But no, it's, I said I always buy cheap compressors. Maybe in the future I'll look into some. I know when what's that company called? Gallery said, "There's anything you want from our shop?" And I said, "I want your compressors, please." Oh, we haven't got any of them. Sorry, you know what I mean. So we'll give you an airbrush instead. You know, so
they only do 110 volts at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, something like that. It's which is all right because I got a 110 transformer in the garage if I needed to. So, but yeah, it's 240 or 230, whatever it is what we need. But yeah, I maybe I'll invest in a better at the moment. What I just use it for, I see. Will I use it 20 minutes a day maximum? Be honest, if you think about it, if you do a build, you spend a couple of hours on the bench, 20 minutes most times just to do some little parts and that. You don't use it for that long anyway, do you?
I find especially with the smaller one with Outlaw Paints, Moss, or if you're using lacquers in general, because you're using really low PSI anyway.
Yeah.
Even out of a little tank like that, you'll get a decent amount of airbrushing. So,
as I said, I think sometimes we look at stuff that it's expensive, we'll buy it, and I used to be like that, but I'm not so much now. Then again, I'm looking at buying a pair of four brushes for 60 quid, you buggers. You know what I mean? But
maybe we can get a discount for 2 Moss.
Yeah, but I do like that. I must say though, looking at your spray booth there, Nigel. I know I've got one in my basket. I've never gone out and purchased it yet, but I have been tempted to upgrade that thing over there and move it somewhere else because it's I don't use it. It's full of crap. I don't really use it. I just end up using on my bench. Really, I need some. And I see a lot of scale modelers do that. They don't really use a spray booth unless they're doing big stuff. They end up just doing, stuff on their own bench. If you know what I mean.
mentioned no names, but there is a modeler who has made YouTube videos and actually openly admits he doesn't use a spray booth because he likes the smell of lacquer paint. Yes. I mean,
See you on the Jurassic World in about 15 years' time. You know, when your lungs are melting.
Is he breathing out of a brown paper bag at the same time? Like?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
How is his airbrush with his
I like that laugh of paint.
But yeah, I wear a mask.
Is that the same person who sprayed the did a 2K clear coat without an extractor then, Nigel?
No.
On a car?
No.
I mean, 2K is essentially airborne super glue, isn't it? You don't want to be breathing that in. Do you know? It's not.
The biggest
good.
problem with 2K is people spray it and then they depart the area and then they go back to see what it's looking like. And it's then when all the gases are coming out.
Yeah.
And they wear all the gear to spray the car and then they walk back in to see their beautiful work without anything on. And they're like, breathe it all in. 2K is lethal.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff. It's great stuff, but it's nasty.
It's full of isocides.
So when you go back and your eyelids are melting.
Yeah. It's like you can feel your eyelashes start to get sticky with 2K because it is like a resin in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's probably the same stuff. It's probably the same mix as they used in the Messerschmitt 163 as the rocket fuel.
Off.
No. It's not that volatile.
Don't mix it with hydrogen peroxide.
You'll end up doing 650 mile an hour.
All in different directions as well.
I've just bought this stuff. Just got this on Amazon because I've been using the Hero Boy 1K. I just got that. This is the U-Pol 1K clear, and it's like you got a litre there.
Good God, how much are you? What scale are you varnishing?
1-to-1. No, this is you got a litre here, and it was like 16 quid, and the little bottle which you could see up there,
Yeah.
is like that's about 8 quid. No, there it is. There. That's about 8 quid, and this was like 16 quid for a litre, and it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fantastic clear coat. Really is good.
That's it.
But no, I only bought it, Alex. I'll probably end up throwing half of it away because it'll go off. But why buy a little bottle for 8 quid when I can buy a litre for 16? You know, if I keep it in the fridge for a long time.
I've gone on to use. It sounds really daft, but I was buying big bottles of CA glue, thinking, "Oh, that's a big bottle. I'll use that." As soon as you crack it open, mate, that's it. Give it 2 weeks, it's solid like a rock. You know what I mean? It's.
Can I just say something that's really surprised me? I'm sorry to talk so much, but you keep saying things and I've got to come in.
Yeah.
This VMS glue, this bottle of VMS black thin here, on the bottom there's the manufacturing date. And it is the 20th of July, 2022. And it's still liquid, it's still thin.
And you use it a lot, do you?
Use it every single day. It's still thin. I keep it in the dark. I don't keep it in the cold.
Yeah. July 2022, same as mine. It's still going.
Yeah.
Still good. The
downside of it doesn't set very fast. The upside of it is it doesn't set very fast.
Great.
Absolutely amazing stuff. All of it is.
The VMS ones have a retarder. So the way cyanoacrylate works is that as soon as it starts to polymerize, which can be water is really good for starting the polymerization. So if you've got cheap super glue, it doesn't have any like retarder in it. So once you've cracked it and some moisture is going to the bottle, it'll start that process. So you're on a timer. So
how many bottles of
how much is there will how long it'll take. So
how many times have you bought a bottle of thin super glue and within 3 or 4 weeks it's starting to thicken up? This is their XT thin. Okay, Flexi 5K XT thin. 10th of the 2nd, 22. It's over 2 years old.
VMS stuff is really
Bob Smith Industries.
Yeah.
They go sour pretty quick. That all I use now are the VMS because I can go in, go out, go in. I'm pretty judicious about how I keep them open. But I've had these. I think I've had this least a year. This is the PE. I've got the resin. I've got the black flexi stuff.
VMS.
Yeah.
It's
VMS.
absolutely incredible, and it just doesn't seem to go down. It's like it keeps filling itself back up.
Yep.
It's absolutely incredible.
Agree.
I had a tin of paint that used to do that. You know the large Humbrol tins of paint. Not the 14 milliliter, the large ones.
Yeah.
I had a tin of Brunswick green, gloss Brunswick green, and I used to paint locomotives in it mainly. And I had to keep adding thinner to it. And every time I opened the lid, it was the same level as what it was when it was brand new.
Yeah, Mr. Service was the same.
It just kept thickening up and re-thickening up, and I had to thin it down then every time I used it. It was weird.
Question: does everyone's bottle of Tamiya extra thin go murky and cloudy, or is it just me? And should I bin it for a new one?
No.
Don't bin it.
Impossible.
It goes murky.
If you imagine you're brushing that brush on plastic, it is going to pick up plastic, and it goes back in the bottle.
Absolutely.
Honestly, mate.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
wouldn't even. Yeah.
Put it on big.
Yeah,
Get me on
Just
big screen.
solvent. There's nothing. Well, you could do some chemical things to it to stop it working, but other than that, it'll keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's practically sprue glue.
It works.
John.
It works
Sprue glue, that is.
perfectly fine, man. It works perfectly fine. It's still the chemicals in there. So
That's very thin filler.
Yeah.
I thought you was mixing the colour grey.
I don't know what's happened to my ex. Look at that.
that's
Oh,
a new
lovely.
bottle.
That
What
is
is that?
filler. That's filler, Nigel.
What have you
That's
done to
clear.
that guy?
That's clear sprue goo.
That's what you use to
Sprue made of clear
substitute
sprue.
clear plastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested it in my comments on one of my videos, and it works really well.
Oh wow.
So I made it myself, Nigel. I made some clear sprue glue.
Mm.
I just took clear.
Did you get that from me?
I did. Thank you, Nigel.
Yes. Don't thank me. Thank the guy that told me. I can't remember who it was
Thank
now,
you.
but
Just
it really does work well, doesn't it?
Use Tamiya clear sprues.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
isn't
Be
it?
careful of some of the clear sprues. Like you'll know when you cut it, it should snap. If you cut it and it just comes apart like vinyl, don't use that.
Yeah.
It needs to be the hard stuff,
No. That's it.
and it doesn't shrink.
No. What's that say? Question: with Moz's background of Airfix sent Moz a one-to-one Moz Bear Cat pilot? No, I stole it. I went to Airfix on Tuesday and Wednesday to film a sprue talk with Gary Evans. And I went up there on the Tuesday and I saw them there and I didn't say nothing. And on the Wednesday, after I did my filming of the lifeboat and the Sprue Talk chat, I said to Dale, are these up for grabs? And he went, I think so. So I grabbed it before he could say no and shoved it in my van. And yeah, so if they're missing one, it's here. I should have got two really and done the whole lot. But I never knew this, but Super Slot, if you see that there, Super Slot is Scale Electrics, but they haven't got the right to use the name Scale Electrics in Spain. So they call it Super Slots. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Never knew that. And also they do it. They've bought into a company of wargaming, and they now have 1 to 56. This is not Airfix, it's a Hornby brand. Now have their tanks in stock. What's the company called again? What was it called again? The company?
Warlord Games.
Warlord Games. Yeah.
Ah.
But they're aiming for the Rubicon market, basically, I think. But they are separate companies. They've only got they've bought into them. Airfix is separate, but they're creating this 156 wargaming tanks and stuff like that, and they're in their shop as well, which I noticed. And they're still selling that 3D printer in the shop there as well. And also, Dale says, anything you want from the shop? And I said, yeah, I'll have some of your poly cement, but the big tube ones. Not really, you know. Yeah, they did a massive tube of poly cement now. Yeah, you know where that can go. Yeah.
It's for the extra sniffer.
Yeah.
You guys,
it's for those who want to make sprue goo, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I reckon John and James will remember this. Do you remember? I don't think Alex is old enough. Do you remember when Airfix made that orange glue that smelled like oranges?
Yeah.
Remember years ago, a lot of problems with people glue sniffing. Airfix made a plastic cement that was orange in color, I think, and it smelled like oranges. And it was crap when it didn't work, did it? It was like
you couldn't build kits with it.
No, yeah, I remember that
garbage. Yeah, it was.
late 70s or early 80s.
Yeah.
You remember it, John? In America, you had it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They did the same thing because, you know, we were transiting out of the 70s and everybody was sniffing poly glue, and so they made so testers did the same thing.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
They made an orange version that had that.
I think Tamiya made do it, didn't they?
To remind you.
It's D-limonene. It's a naturally derived terpene. It basically has the same similar property. If it's pure, it works because it dissolves plastic the same as like xylene or ethyl ketone or anything else. But if you dilute it, then
it didn't work. You could get it everywhere, Alex, and it wouldn't mark the plastic. You
smell nice, though.
I remember. Do you remember the Braniff Airways 747 that Airfix released in the 70s? I bought that glue to build that kit because I thought we'd get a better result.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
My mum made me get it. My mum made me get it because she thought I was glue sniffing.
Were you?
Well, yeah. Look at now.
There's an advert on YouTube, isn't there? No government advert, isn't there? That talks about glue sniffing and stuff.
Right.
There's a big problem, wasn't it, at one stage?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
I can remember seeing blokes doing it on the street, stood there with a bag.
Yeah.
Brown paper
bags.
bags.
With a load of epoxy in it and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they
They don't
put
they just go straight to
what they used to put in
What did they used to use? It was something you could readily buy in a.
Yeah, it was because they put an age limit on the sale of it, didn't they?
Yeah,
Thing to buy
it
it.
was brown glue, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
God, what's it called? Evo? Was it Evo Stick?
Evil
Yeah.
stick.
I think
I
it
think
was.
it was Evo Stick, wasn't it?
Usually,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
a lot of people through the 80s, it was mostly prominent. It was the CFC in aerosols.
Yeah.
So you take the cap
Oh,
off
yeah,
the aerosol and sniff the CFC, and you see people with like cans of like deodorant and hairspray sniffing it. Really dangerous. Really dangerous.
We had a young lassie at school, and she died in a bus shelter at lunchtime.
Yeah, really dangerous. Because if you create a air bubble in your nasal cavity, which you can do with CFC, as soon as that hits the brain,
You're dead.
Can kill you instantly. Yeah.
yeah. Seconds.
That's not very good for you, that is it?
No, it's not very good.
It's not.
It's quite.
You'll be right, Nigel.
Quite
You'll
a
be fine.
take.
Because it kills the brain, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? Let's all put that. But there's also, I remember going to my lads' play group, and they had like, what's it called? Pit stick. But it was a blue colour, and it smelt like marzipan. And the kids were licking it, thinking it was like marzipan. It smelled like marzipan. Oh, honestly, yeah, listen, yeah. But as I said, you know, when it comes to hobby, our hobby, we do use a lot of dangerous chemicals, you know, and that's because, you know, sometimes you need this sort of stuff, like, you know, with lacquer paints, you know, once you go on to lacquer paints, you don't go really back, do you, to normal acrylic paints and stuff?
No.
But it helps the hobby.
Lacquer paints are useless for brush painting.
Yeah.
Correct.
And most of the water-based acrylics are useless for airbrushing. So they each have their advantages.
Yeah. Like I said, in my latest substack, I was talking about Outlaw Paint, and I was like, I got on the bandwagon for Vallejo Model Air, thinking this stuff will go straight for your airbrush. Never did. Never did. It's been a dog shit I was ever told. Honestly, there's more truth in Trump than there is in a Model Air going through your airbrush without thinning it.
On the subject of
Daniel's mixing it for you. This one's going to happen.
Outlaw Paint.
Yeah.
When are you sending out your deliveries?
Right, the website goes live in 5 days.
Well, some of us ordered with you. You said you were going to send them out.
Yes, that's right. But what I want to do is I didn't want to take from the stash because we've done a stock check. We want to make sure that everything is accurate on the website. Then when it's all live, I will then take those paints off and manually adjust it because the paperwork has already been sent into the web developer. See, we've done nothing. I mean, seriously, we have given them a ton of money, information, pictures, and they've just gone away and built us a website from the ground up, which has been modified in a way that if somebody says to us, that North Australian paint, but that paint color for that train, that's the same as such and such and such and such. We can then add information to it. So if you type in a Tamiya color and we've got something that matches, it will come up with our paint. That's the idea of it, because we're not going to be able to get on all these other paint apps at the moment. It's never going to happen, So the only way we can do it is say, trust us, type in a color, Vallejo color, or FS number, or a BT, whatever number you use, and if we've got a close match or a good match, it will come up in the search as this one you want.
You must also tell people about that you're building that.
Yeah.
Like you might not know that one of your colors is FS 37096.
Yeah. There'll be a video
from FS 37096, and it's going to say you don't have it.
Yeah.
Whereas I might look for a certain type of grey, and there it is.
Yeah, that's right. This idea it'll be the idea is to get a community base on it as well, so that they'll say, oh, actually that pearlescent purple was used on this car in this film, and then that's the idea of it. But but that's why we spent a lot of money on it. We've not used Wix or anything.
No.
This is what they call it. Not artisan. There's a word for it. It's a bespoke website for Outlaw Paint. And that's the idea. So the next 5 days, we hopefully should be like, I've just sent them a $4,000 check for bank transfers for another ton of paint to come over, and we've still got to find a broker to bring it over for us. But until he makes the paint, we can find out how much each box weighs and anything. We can't. But it'll be about 10 weeks. But 5 days, I've been told. If you look on the website, it's about 4 days left before it's going live. But they've done absolutely everything for us.
Can I just ask them, that dark green I want, can you please make sure you don't sell it because you've only got one?
You've only got one, yeah. I've
got a project for it, yeah.
Yeah, and I said it's a case of I didn't want to mess about with any stock levels. I want the stock levels to be right when we go live. So if somebody says, "Oh, you got 10 of these," and we sell 9 of them, we've only got 1 left. And actually, we've only got 8 in stock because I've given away 2 already.
I see what you mean.
So that's what it was. Yeah, that's what we've basically done. We've tried to. Once I've got all the stock levels correct, to what I actually had,
thanks, Alex.
It goes over to the web developer team, and they've done it all. They've put because there's a Dropbox file full of pictures. They've matched it all up, put them in different sections. So you've got your German, your Japanese, your American, your English, your NATO, your card colors, your pearlescents, and the stock that we haven't got that I've said, look. For instance, the lifeboat. Unfortunately, I thought it was going to be released July, August, but I've got Jason to go and get me the 5 or 6 paints that will do a lifeboat. So you've got your deck grey, you've got your Oxford blue, you've got your flash orange, or to the British standard kite mark, of the colours. And he's done all that, and all I got to do is get them shipped over and then box them up. So it'll probably be about July time. You'll be able to, if you do like a 7 class or something, or even the new starter set from Airfix, you'll be able to use Outlaw Paint Stand. But at the moment, I'm just waiting on getting it sent over. It's got go on the boat. It's about 10 weeks on the boat. So, but yeah, well, I've had to buy a lot of more paint in to replenish stock that's not there. So, you know, it's one of them. Yeah, and then, but then when we start selling the paint, what we'll then do is we'll have more cash then to then buy everything else. You know, there's still 100 that I haven't got of the range. There's a chrome that I'm talking to the Australians that have used this chrome. It's a bit on the pricey side, but they reckon it's the best chrome that's out there. You put a black gloss underneath, and then you spray this chrome on top. You know, they're loving it. So
it sounds the same as Alclad.
They reckon it's the dog's bollocks. So I've ordered 12 of them to get them over. 12 or 20 of them.
Chrome that goes down like that over a gloss black, so you can regulate the depth and the shininess and all that.
Yeah.
But then be tough, because the trouble is with every chrome paint out there, none of them are tough.
No. I don't know. I'm just being told what I'm being told by Australians. You know, so, and also the diecast guys have cottoned onto it. They're loving it. You know, one guy's done this pickup truck in purple and gold, used our Simmons gold and our is it Lamborghini or McLaren purple, and it's phenomenal. And he actually doesn't spray it at low pressures like we do. He uses a 0.6 airbrush and fires it out at 35 psi. So you can use it on high if you want to go for it. You can. If you're using a 0.6 brush with high pressure, he's proved it can work. He loves it. He said, "Yeah." He said, "You know, this is phenomenal." He said, "You know," as he mixes his own paint anyway. But he says this is good stuff. But you don't have to use it that high. He just that's his technique, and he's done a phenomenal job on it. So the diecast guys are looking at it. This is what I want. I mean, I don't know why he ordered all that Australian paint. Rail paint, because I don't know many Australian rail Supremos up here who would use those colours, but it's an Australian company, so but I'll be really pushing the German, the American, English paints all the time, and there's more coming on. Every time I think of a new colour, he'll go away, he'll find it in his thing and does these bits, and also the pink primer is nearly ready. He says he reckons another 150 sprays, because that's what he does. He tests them. So he gets it absolutely right, and hopefully we'll have a decent pink primer to go with it as well. So all those guys who want to do a decent yellow or red, they got the pink primer to go underneath it. So yeah, it's good. It's interesting. How rattle can chrome gets applied is to me the key of getting the reflective metal finish look. I tend to puff the paint and cover heavy, but not till it runs. Yeah. But yeah, so but those who I've got the mailing list, I think there's 100 people on the mailing list already. Yeah, people have signed up saying, yeah. So even though we, but hopefully we'll start getting more of it in and selling it on. And you've got the paints, haven't you, Nigel and Luke, for the Oscam? Because I've been told they're the only ones who sell Oscam, apparently.
Right. I've got quite a few outlaw paints, but I need that green to make up what I need for the projects I've got to use them on.
Soon as it's live, I'll go through and I'll edit the stock and then ship it out to you.
I'm going to be using that Oscam set tomorrow.
Yeah. Let me know how you get with it.
I've got 10 picked out already, so like a month ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just we're in the hands of, as I said, once I'd done the stock check and everything, went over it, because unfortunately there's some that's got the wrong labels on, so I'm getting the labels sent over to relabel them as well. It has been a labour of love. I've been stressed about it because we're spending all this money and we're not selling a fucking bottle. You know what I mean? It's still and that's what we have.
So,
do you have the ability on the website to pre-order for your batch that's coming out?
No, we've got none of that at the moment because it's not live. We could it will not be until
when it goes live. When it goes live, we have the ability to pre-order.
Yes, there will be a pre-order and system there. But what we'll probably do is we'll do it as in we won't take payment, but we'll take the pre-order. Don't take any payment for it, and then when it comes in stock, we'll then produce an invoice for you to purchase it, and then we'll send it. And because of how it is, I understand what people are going to bitch at me for this, but we're doing a blanket $4.99 postage system, 24 tracked, $4.99. You know, I know you order one bottle of paint at £7. It's going to cost you $4.99, or you can buy 10, and it'll be still $4.99. You know,
you're doing a free postage if you buy 5 bottles.
It's the same postage whether you buy 1 or 20. It's the same If you bought 100, it will still be $4.99. That's the idea. It's to do with weight or anything. So we have to do it that way because there's no other way of doing it at the moment. I think it's up to, what it is, it's up to 2 kilograms. We can do it at $4.99. And then after that, we'll contact you and say, look, we can't ship it more than 2 kilo. We'll have to go to a different, you know, we're still finding our feet. Look, we've been fighting to get this EORI number so we can import the paint.
So I think the international is on, if it's under 1 kilogram.
Yeah,
I think it's about 10 or 11 bottles.
Yeah,
and that ends up being, I think it's somewhere between $17, $20, $23.
Yeah, it gets expensive, you know, but we're doing what we can. You know, we get the trouble is that these parcel firms, they need guarantees. So they'll give us a rate if we can deliver. If we have 40 parcels a day, they'll give us a cheaper rate. And that we got no proof of what we're going to be selling, you see. So and that's why we're trying to hit the deep die-cast market, the scale modeling market, the railway market, so that, you know, we have got these paints in stock.
Yeah,
you know, there's a lot of
funny, Moss. The postage is quite reasonable.
Well, $4.99 was the best. You know, we're not making money on it. The postage will basically pay for the box, the packaging, and the all-in-one. But because it's too big to go with a large letter, because you have to pad it out, it's, you know, it's glass bottles. So that's the idea. And then if it goes, you know, we're just trying to cover our asses really. So at $4.99 is a bog standard Royal Mail 24-hour tract. And, you know, and then pay
Your
for
brilliant, Moss. When I got that Oscam set, I thought it was a bloody football. Bloody ball game.
Well, yeah, it was in a eBay box as well, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I can't buy anything in the States here that ships for less than, I don't know, $7 or $8.
Yeah.
I just sent a Wingnut Wings dualist kit worth £250 insured to Australia. It was £40 and it got there in 6 days.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Parcel Monkey wanted £90. The post office wanted 100 or something. Online on Royal Mail, it was £40. I couldn't believe it. But
yeah,
it went there. It got there.
We'll get there. So if you go on the website now, it you know, you can sign up to the mailing list. As soon as we go live, all those people that were on the mailing list will get a message saying we're live. And you know, say the UK colours are very scant. We've got a lot of German, we've got a lot of Japanese, we've got a lot of English, we've got tons of Australian rail, which I don't know how I'm going to market that. But we've got plans. So you know, so I put in an order this week, and so I'll be eating beans on toast now because I've drained all my savings for that. I didn't want to. But it sounds shit, but I didn't want to put personal money in. I just want to put business money into it, so that I haven't lost anything. Then have I? You know what I mean?
To get rid of those Australian colours, do you have the ability to heavily discount just to move them out of the way, just to get rid of them?
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea.
Because I'll be interested in some of those because I mix a lot of my own colours anyway.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what we're gonna have to do is say, you know, have a see if it's just, he says that it's, you know, Australian and British rail colours don't mix. But I'm pretty sure there's been Australian trains that ended up on an Indian railway line somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Or something like that. So, but yeah, it'll be good. Anyways, it's gone 10 o'clock. I think that's been really good, actually. We had a really good chat tonight about our bench. Thank you all for joining us, those in the chat, those on the panel. We'll be back again next Monday at 8 o'clock for another Airfix and Chill. Have a fantastic rest of your week and happy modelling. Cheers all and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.